providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Good morning. Happy Corn on the Cob Day.
Yay!
You are listening to Caregiver Crossing. We're so glad you're here. If you are hearing us for the first time, Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joy's House and is presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're so thrilled that you're here. This show is created for family caregivers and the people who love them. We're right here every Sunday morning to discuss the highs, lows, joys, and pains of caregiving. We are your hosts. My name is Candace Hattabaugh.
I'm Tina McIntosh.
I'm Terry Lynn Stacy from Hancock County.
We're so glad Terry's back today.
Yes.
We missed her.
I missed you. I missed all of you. This show brings me joy.
Well, good.
I learn. I laugh with you all. It's a great time in my life. We'll tell you in a little bit. We took some photos that you guys are going to want to see because we've been taking photos for the show, and I'm surprised that we got through it at all. We're not high fashion models, mind you.
At one point, each one of us cried.
Yeah, and guess what else? Each one of us, guess what? What our pants?
Right, and Terry at one point said, I don't want to do this anymore.
It was a lot of fun, and we can't wait to show you the pictures, right?
You know, so I'm thinking about that, and like that's the whole vibe of the show is we're talking about very serious things for family caregivers, resources, information, connections. And I remember, Terry, I think you told us at one point somebody said like, or maybe it was you, doesn't matter, that you girls cackle, like you laugh and cackle.
My husband.
Oh yeah,
Doug.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, we have to laugh. Each of us knows what it's like to be a family caregiver, and listener, if you're a family caregiver, that you have to laugh. And so
I think
shove
outside
it,
of
Doug.
that, yeah, Doug.
Oh, that's Candace's mad voice, Doug.
I haven't called him sir in a while. Anyone that knows me, like when sir ends a sentence,
Yeah.
I'm not happy.
it's the truth.
And unless I'm saying like, thank you, sir, or something like that. But how long have you been in the healthcare industry?
I mean, I was an event planner at Crossroads Easter Seals, but I was in the event side, but I did work with the consumers is what people were called who use the services. But really, I mean, in healthcare since I was 27.
27.
And I'm 51.
Yeah. Don't make me do math.
24 years.
I was a candy striper at Turtle Creek Nursing Home in Richmond when I was 15. Does that count?
It counts.
Does
yeah.
it count?
It absolutely does.
Volunteered at Riley for a while.
See,
Had my volunteer
Absolutely.
jacket. That really wasn't, doing anything but reading to the children, but still, I was there.
influence around
I
you.
felt
though.
like
Yeah.
I felt like a doctor.
And you?
It's 20 years the last month.
That's amazing.
yeah.
But for both, that's amazing.
Well, I say that because, yes, Caregiver Crossing is a service of Joy's House. And yes, we all individually have our own caregiver family experience. But on top of that, we have professional caregiving history. And I just wanted to point that out because I know someone somewhere has said to themselves or someone else, who do these women think they are telling me how to be a caregiver? And I just wanted to put that out there. We kind of know what we're talking about. And if you want to correct us on something, do that.
Here's what I love, though, that I know we've, learned over the years is that there is no right or wrong way to caregive.
Absolutely.
There is your way. So whatever is your way to approach caregiving at this moment in time, what you did 10 years ago for somebody might not be right for you and them today. And so what we are bringing to you are these nuggets of information and these moments in time that you can steal, borrow, amend, and make your own. So,
and
yeah,
absorb it. And even, if you're not at this moment a caregiver, I promise you, I believe anyway, that there will be a time you're a caregiver and it will sink into your body and your brain and you won't even know it. But these things you're learning from week to week from here at Caregiver Crossing, it will come in handy at some point.
Yeah,
I believe.
And here's something I learned a while ago. We were trying to figure out what caregiver services were out there. And this was probably 5-6 years ago. It was before the pandemic. And I've never been a secret shopper. Have either of you ever been a secret shopper?
But it's a dream.
That'd be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yes.
It was the only secret shopper phone call I've ever made. And I made it to an organization in Indiana that is to help connect you to resources. And I called and said, I'm calling. My husband has a diagnosis. let's just say it was MS. He does not have MS, but like of MS and I multiple sclerosis. And I'm trying to figure out what services are out there for me. And everything they tried to give me was specific to the diagnosis for my husband in that conversation. And I said, but that's all great. We're connected for him. I'm talking about for me. And they said, I'm so sorry. There's really not anything out there. And so, we're here because we know there's a gap in the community. You're going to be hearing the words family caregiver a lot more in these coming years because there's a big push. We talked about it on the show last week or week before. That the president actually put out an executive order talking about how family caregiving is a crisis.
It's national crisis, yeah.
Yeah. And so we're going to be hearing more, and we're going to be here to help you navigate it. We're your people. We're your people.
We're your tribe.
Yeah.
We talked about having a tribe the other day, too.
We did.
Welcome.
So Abby, as your tribe, any highlights, any big things this week? Anything to share?
No, I got back from Georgia yesterday. I spent some time with my sister and we went to a women's conference at her church and it was beautiful. It was a nice reset for me.
Good for
you.
you.
I really needed that. But I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, glad to hear that.
We've had a rough week. This has been a rough week with my dad, who's having some health issues. And the things that he's going through right now is, he's had a couple of strokes. He's had a heart attack. The stroke, this last one in January, has left him in a more of a crisis situation, I believe. He's at home with my mom caring for him. My sister, David, is down there right now. My husband, he's doing a shift. And we're at a stage where we're not getting nobody's sleeping because he's not sleeping. And so we're trying to find that right, whatever that is, that right medication, that right something that can help him sleep and get that sleep schedule, that pattern back on track. But in the meantime, I'm watching the people that are doing most of the caregiving right now, my mom and my sister, just, they're at their wits' end. They're not sleeping. Dad wants everybody in the room with him while he's trying to sleep. And it's just, right now we're going through some challenges. So there are things that I wonder oftentimes, why isn't there something for this? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Why isn't there something for this? So we're getting through it. We're tired. If you've listened to me on the first day in the last couple of weeks, a little bit jumbly. And that's just from lack of sleep. Dad will call, all through the night and just to make sure we're there and we're well. He's going through that stage where he's worrying about everything, the anxiety, maybe some depression. 87 years old. He's had an amazing life, and we've been lucky that he has had no health issues up until this last couple of years. So very grateful for the days we get with him. But I completely understand what so many of you are going through right now. I do.
I'm just so sorry to hear that. It's really hard on everybody, and prayers, Terry, for your family.
Thank you very much. I believe in them. I believe they work. I believe that they work. I know that there's a plan, though, that is out of my control. And I just, grateful for every minute we get with him.
Amen.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest and more than 40 years of senior living experience, Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized care. Visit cardon.us for more information and to find a community near you. Okay, stay put. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing right after the break. Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you for sticking around and joining us for another segment. Today, right now, we are going to be talking with Gloria Scoggins. She is the author of Through a Trail of Tears, a Black family story of generational wealth. Gloria is joining us today to share what her mother's Alzheimer's diagnosis taught her about entrepreneurism. That's a word. As a Black woman. Yeah. Gloria, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing just fine.
Good, thank you. Gloria, your mother let's start back and tell us a little bit about yourself and what brought you to authoring this book.
Well, I started thinking about writing the book because my mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And I just wanted to capture her life because she was a successful real estate broker and had developed a real estate business that was thriving, and she was very involved in the community.
As you're writing this book and you're going through this journey, there were some things that came to the forefront for you.
Yes. When I was writing the book, it was interesting for me to find out that through a trail of tears, my great-grandparents were slaves of the Creek Tribe Nation. And through that journey, I learned of the suffering of Black slaves and how interwoven their lives were with Native Americans. And my grandmother was allocated land as a Creek freedman. And from getting that land and working that land, they understood the value of property ownership and how it built self-worth and community involvement and prosperity. So when they migrated to Richmond, California, my mother got into real estate. And she fought for Blacks to become homeowners. She dealt with policies that were put in place to prevent Blacks to become homeowners. They couldn't acquire loans. So she fought and planted a lot of seeds along the way and provided many opportunities for Blacks in the Bay Area to become homeowners.
Gloria, did you know this information before you started the book, or did you learn about it through that process?
I learned about the process of them moving to Indian Territory with their slave masters through the process of writing the book. My mother was always very proud to say, I am Creek freedman. I didn't understand what that meant, but I know she had a lot of pride of property ownership. I know that she wanted Blacks to be able to acquire property to create generational wealth. That was what she was all about, and she was really just helping, especially Black women, obtain that goal of home ownership.
Gloria Scoggins is with us today, author of Through a Trail of Tears, a Black family's story of generational wealth. And she's also here to talk about what her mother's Alzheimer's diagnosis taught her about entrepreneurism as a Black woman. Tell me about your mom and when she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. How old was she and how long ago was that?
My mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's in 2015. And then at that point, she was still running her real estate business that she started 74 years ago. So when she was diagnosed, her doctors initially stressed the importance of her continuing to go to her office to sustain her quality of life as long as possible. And so her doctors were hoping that with the right support, she could continue to be successful with her business. And in my mom's case, she was in denial. She was like, those doctors don't know what they're talking about. Well, why are you listening to them? They don't know what they're talking about. They just need to take care of their business and leave me alone. I'm trying to run my business. So she was so much in denial that I, too, became in denial because I wanted to believe her. So I was of the poor mindset, well, maybe the doctors don't know what they're talking about. So, but soon it was very apparent that her cognitive abilities were declining. And I was so fearful to step into her business because all my life she has taught me, you can get your career. I was a teacher. I was a principal. I was in the education profession. She always pushed me. This is my business. That's your business. You take care of your school. You teach those kids and stay out of my business.
So, Gloria, what was the moment where you said to yourself, it's time for a change? Mom is no longer able to do this in the way that we have. And did you take over from there, or did someone else step in?
Well, I became very aware that her work environment had become toxic because her mood changes. the anxiety, the employees, all of that was so overwhelming for her that it became very clear. So I had to get a conservatorship, and that was a process in itself, and she was still in denial. But, and then along with that, I was providing caregiving for her because she at that point was living with me.
All right, so I have a question for you. What's the biggest mistake that people make when planning to pass on their property or wealth?
Not doing anything at all, realizing that there are some health issues going on with a loved one and not doing anything at all. And it's just fear. And I think that people value their independence, and it's hard to accept when you are faced with a diagnosis that is so hard felt.
Right. There's so much to it. And I know in this book, book about your mom's amazing story, Through a Trail of Tears, a Black family story of generational wealth, you share so much. And, we're grateful that you share your heart and your experience with your mom. And what is the change that you would like to see when it comes to generational wealth and how it's treated in the Black community?
I would like for more opportunities for Blacks to be able to become homeowners, property owners, that the discrimination, the redlining is no longer preventing Blacks to become homeowners.
There it is. Thank you. I had muted myself. So, Gloria, tell us where we can find a copy of your book.
And who's it for? I think that's another question. I want to make sure that we're telling people this book is for you, and here's why. So, yes, where can we find it, and who's your target market?
The book is available on Amazon, and my target audience is for inspiring generations to think about what, if any, self-limitations we are putting on ourselves to become homeowners, to eliminate the biases that are out there preventing us from becoming homeowners, and just understanding that our family history, our ancestors' fight was for us to become comfortable in our lives.
Gloria Scoggins, excuse me, thank you so much for sharing some time with us today here on Caregiver Crossing. Again, Gloria Scoggins, author of Through a Trail of Tears, a Black family story of generational wealth. Gloria, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It isn't always about, a caregiver isn't always about tied to elderly.
Correct.
Seniors. This is you when you're a caregiver, and we've had this conversation before. You could be a caregiver for your wife that is battling breast cancer. A caregiver, that's a word that I think sometimes has gotten lost with when you're a caregiver, you're particularly only caring for an elderly adult. Something like that. I just disagree.
No,
I think
absolutely.
caregiver, and you guys taught me that. You did. You taught me that it's not just about the elderly. You may have, maybe your husband or your wife has just come home from the military. They're a veteran and they're suffering from battling PTSD, and you're caring for them. That not necessarily is an 80-year-old person you're caring for. You're caring for a loved one that may be, under 30 years old.
And yes, I think the word caregiver is becoming more and more common now.
It is.
In our society. But we do get confused between paid caregivers and family caregivers. And I think it's fascinating how many paid caregivers, so people who do it professionally, listen to this show. I have people tell me all the time, I'm in the industry, I like to listen, hear the resources, get refresher on things. And then, I think when we started, we thought it would all be family caregivers, somebody caring for a loved one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, yeah, it's a pretty broad term.
I'm also surprised at the number of people over the years that have reached out that said, I'm not caregiving yet. It may not be my thing in the future, but I know people who are. So it's good to prepare or gather resources for someone else. So
Those are the good students. Everybody else turns it off because they're scared that it might be them one day. But yeah.
Maybe so. Whoever you are, we're glad that you're here with us today on Caregiver Crossing. Let's talk about you, or perhaps somebody you love or know is having some stomach issues. I mean, it happens.
I'm going to raise my hand.
Eat a lot
we are not shy
crap.
here.
It's
I think it's more common than we think it is. And I'm also learning from TikTok that autoimmune disorders are more common than we realize. Because we're not eating well, we're not getting enough fiber, we're not drinking enough water.
right.
What? Tina's got a thought.
Okay, what is it I saw on TikTok? This is how Candace and I talk all the time. I swear, it's always like, and then I heard on TikTok about there's a line on a lot of foods after the ingredients. It says like may contain bioengineered foods. Mm-hmm. Everything.
Bioengineered foods.
Yes, which I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it's not natural. I mean, it's
They're growing
I
bioengineered.
mean, I could see
It's
so in
growing.
my mind.
I'm gonna look it up.
And I'm not a scientist, but bioengineered could be what we're feeding the chickens to make them fatter, or what are we putting on the corn to make them produce more or produce longer.
According to Wikipedia, which is always right, genetically modified foods, also known as genetically engineered foods or bioengineered, are foods produced from organisms that have had changes introduced into their DNA using the methods of genetic engineering. Oh, I do not like the way that sounds.
That just made my stomach turn.
Of course you don't. That's it's creating meat. It's growing fake
Guys, it's in
meat.
everything.
Maybe, right?
It's
Is that what it is? Is it growing?
corn and cotton, eggplant, papaya, pineapple, potatoes, salmon, soybeans, squash, sugar beets. I mean, the list goes on.
Oh, those all sound like good things.
No, but I don't know.
Terry was just eating pineapple.
I did not.
I just
look.
ate pineapple.
Yeah, you did too.
Making my stomach hurt. Speaking of stomachs.
Michelle Crouch wrote this for AARP. Here are 10 stomach symptoms, and it starts in your throat.
She's making that up.
I've been laughing so hard today. 10 stomach symptoms you should never ignore because they can signal cancer, COVID-19, or other serious diseases. Again, this comes from AARP. And as you said, everybody's got stomach issues from time to time. Here are 10 symptoms you should never ignore.
Number one.
How's your prolonged diarrhea? I'm sorry. This is first thing in the morning and you all are having breakfast.
Hello.
I shouldn't
Good
have started
morning.
there. But listen, I don't even have to explain that to you. If it's been going on for a while, something's wrong. Okay. We'll just skip that one now. But that's number one. That is number one. Number two has to do with, oh gosh. Okay. Let's skip that one too, because I know you're all having scrambled eggs. So here's number three. You should know this. Severe cramps after eating. It's not always about coleslaw.
No, but when you read on it says severe cramping is a warning sign of a bowel instruction. I was like, yes,
yeah.
or food intolerances.
Right.
I mean, let's not jump to conclusions here.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have a severe cramp. I just ate. I must have a bowel obstruction.
Yeah, I think the key thing, if it's prolonged, if you're experiencing this, I would say more than a couple times a week in my non-doctor voice, but you definitely
What's your doctor voice sound like?
I'd like to hear that too.
I haven't heard that yet.
Isn't that come out?
Well, give me a couple weeks.
Okay.
I'll introduce it.
Just a little bit of a lowering, maybe. Just a little bit of a lowering, and maybe throw in a word like inflammation.
Inflammation. Are you experiencing
inflation.
bowel inflammation?
Yes, Dr. Candace. I mean, here's what I'll say. All of these are pretty. Come on, if you can't swallow,
Swallowing, I think this is interesting. This has to do with your stomach. I never thought about this, but if you're having trouble swallowing, that is one on the list that I thought, well, maybe
because it's getting backed up.
I don't know, but it's a warning sign of some sort. So if you're having if you feel like your food's stuck in your throat or it hurts as it's going down, that can be a sign of something worse. It might not just have been the potato chip that you ate wrong and it is now scraping down your throat. It could be a little, these are just things for you to look at.
Yeah.
To just be aware of,
Well, I just had a light bulb go off in my head. I have somebody very dear to me who's been having trouble with like clearing the throat a lot and feeling like something's in there. And
Are
I'm
you
like,
talking about me?
No. if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. But no. Okay. All right. Here she is.
Now I'm worried.
No, but I'm going to pass this on.
I would pass this on.
Right now, I'm going to do that because that I find concerning.
I agree.
All right. So as much as I kind of wanted to make fun of this topic of conversation, I'm passing it on.
Listen, it wasn't my idea. This came from Candace. Number 5.
Don't call me, people. Do not call me.
And listen, this is another one of those things, this unexplained weight loss.
See, I would always think weight gain.
No, but unexplained weight loss. And here's a question. Now it's become where you don't know whether to ask. Like there are people I've known that I'll talk about Abdul, my friend Abdul Shabazz, Hakeem Shabazz. He lost weight and we weren't quite sure to say, oh my gosh, you look great. Because we didn't know if maybe he was not well. Do you know what I mean? So that's been one of those questions. Do you say this or do you not say this anymore? Unexplained weight loss is something to be aware of.
We're going to do the rest, but hold on. I mean, again, going back to my father just passed away and it was chronic malnutrition was really the reason that he was dying.
Is that
it was
right?
Based on some other things, but on his death certificate, it talks about protein deficiency. He really, I mean,
oh gosh,
wasn't eating. So and he had lost, I don't know, 65 pounds in 8 months. So it was a lot. All right. We'll be back here in just a moment. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every Sunday to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit caregivercrossingradio.org to connect with us, learn about more caregiver support resources in the community, and much more. Again, caregivercrossingradio.org. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment.
And we're back on Caregiver Crossing. Terry Stacy, Tina McIntosh, and Candace. I almost called you Preston this time.
See, I still do it myself.
Had a ball. And we were talking about, before the break, we were talking about from AARP, a story written by Michelle Crouch about the 10 stomach symptoms you should never ignore. And the one that I mentioned right before we took the break was about that weight loss, that sudden weight loss, which, you know, most people gain weight. That's what you do. But when you're not well, you lose the weight without trying. And according to this article, you need to see a doctor if you've dropped 5% or more of your body weight within 6 to 12 months. And he said, I wonder what that doesn't sound like much.
But when you're not trying.
Yeah, when you're not
when
trying.
When you can't explain it, you haven't picked up your activity, you haven't lowered your calories and, you know, all that. But here's what I do want to point out, because, you know, if you're listening and you're a caregiver, you know that a lot of times your loved one can't tell you when they're having a sharp pain, or when they feel full, or they're having, you know, like, but you can pay attention to their bowel movements. You can pay attention to what those look like. And I'm not trying to be funny when I say that. I'm being serious. I mean, if there's blood in their stool, or if they're constipated for a long time, or if they're complaining about pain or kind of writhing, or you know,
wincing, or
wincing,
squinching.
and, you know, just something's wrong, but they can't tell what it is. Pay attention to what's going in their bodies and what's coming out, because a lot of times when we have some kind of a diagnosis, we can't say, I'm having a sharp pain in my abdomen, but we can say, you know, blah. I mean, we can wince and scream and be upset. So you really have to pay attention from a different perspective.
I'm glad you brought that up as a caregiver, you know, because guess what? I was just looking at it myself personally, selfishly about my weight.
Yeah.
I was thinking, as I do with everything, let me see if I have anything on this list, you know, and you mentioned it, sudden intense abdominal pain is also on this list. And you were talking about, you know, look at it from a caregiver's perspective, and you're absolutely right.
So on that one, when we were in our 30s, I had a coworker here at Joy's House who called me one day and said, I'm not going to be able to come into work right now. I'm having a pain. And when she started describing it to me, I got on what might have been my dial-up at that time. And I looked up the symptoms because we're all doctors when we get on WebMD, right?
Right.
But I looked it up, and I can't remember, maybe it was her appendix or something. And I was like, I think you might want to go in and have that checked out. And she ended up, I think, having surgery. I mean, it was a
Yeah,
it
that
was a
happened
major
to my
deal,
mother-in-law just a couple years ago. It might even been last year. She was having really sharp stomach pain, and my father-in-law took her to the emergency room, and they said it was probably just gas or something like that. And she sent her home, ended up having to call 911, and they took her back in, and her appendix was about to rupture, and they had surgery. And
here's the thing too, with a lot of women in particular who have had children, you know, having 3 kids of my own that I birthed, like you get used to these pains and cramps and changes and you're not paying attention to it. And a lot of times severe things will happen and women just kind of blow it off because they're like, been there, done that,
Yeah.
you know?
I've had worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was growing up, stomach was, as I was growing, stomach was always the problem. It was always about, and I was told, I don't know how many times, growing pains.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I thought, is that a real thing now that I'm an adult? Are there such things as growing pains? Because my stomach was not good most of my teenage years.
And I would say the answer to that is yes, but what if you also had food intolerances?
Right.
I mean, like there's so much that we know now and sometimes overreact, right? But that are different. So there are things on here too on this list, like frequent, severe, or worsening heartburn. And that's not just I ate salsa at lunch and then I tore my stomach up with some red sauce at dinner. Like this is something that is continuing on. I think, Candace, you said it last segment. If it's continuing for a while, go get it checked out.
Yeah.
Please do not. As someone who has had cancer twice, I'm going to tell you right now, just go get it checked out. Because sometimes your body cannot afford to wait. So swollen abdomen, for sure. I'm also going to tell you, my dad, when he first went into hospice, looked like he was like 7 months pregnant, if not more.
Because his stomach was so
He was
full,
constipated.
so big.
It was so big. I could not believe it. And then finally, we got that taken care of and then obviously had other issues before he passed. But if your stomach is really bloated, particularly, I think, that hard, painful to the touch kind of bloating, please seek medical attention. Talk to your doctor. Go to the ER if you have to.
That's a good one.
And then the feeling full after eating very little. I don't ever have that problem. I'm not sure what those words mean.
Feeling full after
like
eating
a
very little.
bottomless pit.
I don't know what that one is either. But if it's something that continues to happen for you, where you just eat a little food and you feel completely full, and that's again. We just want you to go in and make sure everything's okay. Yes, for Tina in the back.
Hi.
She's got her hand raised.
I had my hand up. Is it too early for us to tell people to put the 21st on their calendar?
No, absolutely not.
No.
All right.
Let's do it.
You want to explain to them what it is, Candace?
I will take that paper. Thank you. We're excited. We're having our Joyce House open house and hello, June 21st.
Hello.
5:30 to 7:30. All are welcome. You do not need to RSVP or anything. It is our Broad Ripple location right off of 62nd / Broad Ripple Avenue. Big multicolor house. But we're excited to have the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra here to perform.
How did you get them?
We've got friends in high places.
That's
Connections.
amazing.
I mean, not the whole orchestra.
Oh.
Yeah, that seems excessive. But yeah, we will have some members here.
Fun
That's
little
cool.
nibbles and sweet treats.
Food?
We're going to feed you.
Snacks?
We're going to entertain you. You'll get to tour the house. You'll be able to come in and see where we record Caregiver Crossing each week. And what
today
else?
I saw the most beautiful thing here. And this I needed very badly. And I looked out of Tina's office, and Tina's on the second floor, her office on the second floor, looking down at the courtyard. And there was the most beautiful sight of, your guests dancing with your volunteers or some of your staff, and others sitting under chairs in the cool shade.
Yeah.
And everybody just watching these 3 or 4 people that were dancing. And it was such a beautiful sight because you could see again the joy and the happiness that it brought them on an afternoon.
We need those moments.
We need those moments. So you might be able to see
fuel us.
that too.
Well,
Dance while you're here.
dance while you're here. You can dance at the open house, even though I don't think that's a thing. But, you know,
could with the
there's
symphony
no
playing.
judgment. Yeah, dance on.
June 21st, 5:30 to 7:30.
All right. We hope to see you here. Before we go, we do want to say thank you to our friends at Cardon and Associates for sponsoring Caregiver Crossing. We would not be here without them. And so you're going to get to hear more about them very soon. But in the meantime, we want to thank them for how they serve adults aging and others in our community with their campuses. And so we will be back next Sunday. Between now and then, we hope you take good care of each other.
Bye.